Before the break, we covered the games in Croydon from Week 1. The Falcons were victorious over the Gippsland Gladiators, and the Bendigo Dragons went down to the Croydon Rangers. Other results in Week 1 include the Southeastern Predators defeating the Western Crusaders down in Geelong, and later on in the afternoon, the Geelong Buccaneers defeated the reigning champions, the Monash Warriors, convincingly in a 49-22 victory. The next day at Royal Park, two new clubs had at it when the Melbourne University Lions drew with the Pakenham Silverbacks. Then in the afternoon, the Melbourne Uni Royals seemingly had the wood over the Miners when Berwick scored on the final play, breaking Royal hearts 14-13. And finally, over in Reservoir, the Monash Barbarians defeated the Northern Raiders 30-14. We'll now go out to Rory Dew, who covered all the action in Week 2 at Reservoir. The morning game was between the Bendigo Dragons and Melbourne Uni Royals.
Round 2 of the 2014 Gridiron Victoria season saw a clash between two newly promoted clubs in the Melbourne University Royals and the Bendigo Dragons. Both teams were looking for their first win of the season after being narrowly defeated by their respective opponents the week before. The Dragons kicked off to start the encounter and were keen to impose their own brand of physical football on both sides of the ball from the get-go. And it wouldn't take long for the Dragons to get on the scoreboard through running back John Whittle. A QB keep by Noah Sims would put the Dragons up 8-0 in the first quarter. Eventually the Royals put the ball in the end zone on a carry by running back Jamie Spiteri. However, they were unable to make the PAT, with the Dragons monstering the line and getting their hands on the kick. In the second quarter, the Dragons struck again by means of wide receiver Ben Hughes. Solid push from the Dragons' offensive line put Sims in the end zone for his second two-point conversion, 16-6 to the Dragons. The Royals almost managed to close the gap before the main break, but the Dragons stepped up and kept the scores at 16-6 going into halftime. But in the fourth quarter, Luke Rosengarten and the Dragon special teams were able to put the finishing touches on the game. A leisurely stroll for quarterback Noah Sims took the Dragons up to 24 points.
How does that taste, eh? 3 cheers for the Dragons!
We believe in ourselves, we believe in our teammates, we believe in our program, and we believe in our playbook. And as long as we stick to that, the results will come our way. In the last year and this year, I've never singled out a player for a standout performance as I had to today, and it's just because I think anybody who was watching that game knows Rosie didn't play too badly today.
I thought it was a great win for us, a good boost for us. Obviously, it was our first win in Division 1. We just need to take the momentum, carry the momentum into next week. We'll put together another good game plan, and we'll be ready to go for next week.
Coach, thanks for joining us on the program today.
And thank you very much.
Thank you for having us.
A huge win for the travelling Bendigo Dragons. Of course, other results in Week 2 included the Geelong Buccaneers demolishing the Monash Barbarians 55-0 out in Endeavour Hills. And of course, the Monash Warriors, the reigning champions, went back to victorious ways after defeating the Berwick Miners convincingly 30-0. And out in Morwell, the Division 2 matches included the Gippsland Gladiators defeating the Pakenham Silverbacks 28-0 before the Ballarat Falcons, previously winless, brought their winning streak to 2-0 with a victory over the Melbourne University Lions 30-0. The Western Crusaders and Croydon Rangers were on a bye that week. We now go out to Rory Dew, who covered the huge game between the Southeastern Predators and Northern Raiders.
Week 2 saw the clash between the recently promoted Northern Raiders and one of GV's newest clubs in the startup Southeastern Predators. It was evident that this game was going to be a defensive struggle from the get-go. Late in the first, the Predators hit the lead after a fumble recovery for a touchdown by linebacker Alex Zayas. A successful PAT would see the Predators up 7-0. An errant snap on the Raiders' punt team would see them concede a safety and trail 9-0. Unwavered, the Raiders' defense pushed to keep their team in the game. And they would claim an unsuspecting victim in injured Predator Daniel Tregurtha, who was cleaned up on the sideline by his own quarterback. The Raiders offense just couldn't move the ball against the Predators defense. A quarterback sneak by Jesse Sporton would seal the game. The Predators would record a 15-0 win over the Raiders. GVTV's Danny Ratnapinta caught up with Predators head coach Mark Penguin Levin.
Today it's in different colours, of course. 2 wins on the trot and a great win over the Raiders today. What did you make of the game today?
Look, it was an improvement for us. I mean, all we're trying to achieve as a brand new club is to improve each time we come out.
Yep.
We've had a better start than we would have hoped for. Our defence is playing really strong. Our offence is taking time to click, but that's what happens with brand new clubs. Well, we're going to have a tough week next week against the Buccaneers. I don't know about rivalry from a point of view. There's certainly a big one between the Warriors and the Buccaneers when I was at the Warriors, but now with the Southeastern Predators, I don't think there's any we're a bit too young yet to have any sort of real serious rivalries going on.
I guess the question I got to ask you is, do you feel like a Division 1 team?
Not yet. And that's an honest answer, and it's hard to say that, but not yet. And the reason I say that is because you're always going to be looked at by the old Div 1 people, the old school people, as the new kids. We're going to be real happy when our day comes too. We're still trying to prove ourselves within that division, though. I mean, we are obviously the new kids, and no one's going to just say, hey, you're Div 1. We have to prove it. So when is it going to feel that way? It'll feel that way when the time's right. When we prove ourselves, that's when it'll feel that way. But until then, yeah, I think we still got something to prove to the rest of the league. So.
Yeah, well, hopefully that you can prove yourself sooner rather than later.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Thanks for joining us on the program.
Thanks, Danny.
That's about all that we have time for here on Gridiron Victoria TV. I'm GVTV Director Danny Ratnapinta, and it's a pleasure to say that we're back on the airwaves, bigger and better than ever. We hope you've enjoyed the season premiere here on Channel 31. We're going to go on a 3-week break now, and then for the first time in Gridiron Victoria history, we will broadcast every week on Monday nights at 7:30 p.m. Our first weekly broadcast is 7:30, Monday the 16th of June. If you want to get a taste of GV, feel free to come down to the grounds every weekend all around the state. More information on gridironvictoria.com.au. A big thanks to the Phantom crew featuring the league president Sam Weller and our co-hosts Jamie Stafford and Rory Dew. Thanks for joining us here on Channel 31. I'm Danny Ratnapinta. You've been watching Gridiron Victoria TV.